closer, baby. Yeah, you like that, don't you? Is this thing on? Hi, I'm Srag. I play this game every now and again, and some people would even call me good at it. If you had the audacity to be so bad that you're worse than me and think that I'm good. It all comes down to a couple things. Being too aggressive for your own good, and not being aggressive enough. And then mixing those two together, and getting a weird concoction of equally good and terrible. Now, I will say that me being bad isn't completely my fault. It's only, 75% my fault. So if you want to be about 25% better than me, I'm gonna show you how. Today, I'm gonna show you how to improve your game on a game that's probably gonna die very, very fast after about, when Black Ops Cold War comes out. But until then, you probably want to work on your multiplayer because you're excited for a brand spanking new game to come out. Yes, PC fans. Gotta love it. So the first thing to being good at this game is to be able to out-DPS your enemy. Now whether that means running an MP5, because let's face it, it still has one of the highest DPSs, running a shotgun, so that if you come within, 10 kilometers of a guy, you can immediately blow his legs off. Or, just running whatever gun happens to be the meta at the time. After you. Or, in my case, just have everybody use a not-so-good weapon while you use something like the Grau, which is actually fucking disgusting now that I'm using it, at least compared to the M13. Thing was doo-doo. Couldn't out-DPS a fucking snail. So step one on being good at the game is just having an objectively good weapon, such as the Grau. It's still pretty good. Or the Galil, or also known as the C-Max, or CR-A-Max. So, first step, have a better gun than the other guy. Second step, have better aim than the other guy. See, with these two steps, you should be able to basically kill anybody as long as you get the first shot down. Now, granted, there are going to be certain situations where some guns will naturally not be able to outperform the other weapon. And there you go, 33-7. After joining about halfway through the match. And step 3, have better positioning than the other guy. So, I know what you're thinking. Well, if I have a better gun, better aim, then what in the hell is it gonna matter? Well, it's gonna matter when the guy is on the opposite side of the map, and he has an HDR, and you're stuck there with an MP5, although you have a objectively better gun, and you might even have objectively better aim, that MP5 might not even do 1 damage at that range. I mean, it always depends on the map, because if you're on shipment, well, the MP5 is basically just 3 kills. But let's do something that's a little less situational. A shotgun at point blank. You can't out-DPS a shotgun with an SMG, at least at point blank. And not the slugs, because the slugs are fucking garbage. So then I got all the super general and super, well, yeah, no fucking shit tips and tricks out of the way. Here's how you get good. So first off, a better gun than the other guy. There are many guns in this game that are better than the other guy's gun. 2 that are easily accessible at lower levels are the FAL and the M4. The M4 for its complete lack of recoil and complete disregard for the balance of fire rate and damage. The FAL for its complete disregard for the balance of damage per shot. The MP5 for its complete disregard of damage at close range. Shotguns are actually pretty well balanced, except for pre-patch 725. LMGs just suck, so don't even touch those. If you're gonna touch a marksman rifle, you either go for the Mark II or nothing, because everything else basically sucks. And in the sniper rifles, don't fucking touch those. They suck in multiplayer. Because this video is about how to get better in multiplayer, not Warzone. And Riot Shield, don't fuck with that. Because if you need it, you're not good enough. So, with getting the best weapon out of the way, basically, here's the vanilla weapons that you can use, which are the FAL, the M4, the MP5, the Uzi, the 725, the Model 680, and from what I hear, the R9O, but I haven't used it in a while, the Mark II carbine, and if you really want to, the AX50, or the Rytec. I haven't used that in a while either. So, there's step 1, have a better gun than the other guy. Step 2, have better aim than the other guy. There's a couple ways you can do that. You can go into things such as the gun course, or the marksman challenge, or Price's Alley, but those aren't going to be available forever. What is going to be available forever are custom games. Because you're gonna want to go down to Speedball here. This is the smallest map in the game that will provide you with the least amount of waiting for enemies to respawn. Then you're gonna slap yourself on Team Deathmatch, turn off the time limit, the score limit, and if you want the match start time, make sure that radar always on is constant. Make sure that weapon pings on minimap is enabled, because if you disable that, it somehow breaks the radar system, and then everything else you can leave alone, because there's no real point in changing it. And basically, you just shoot at recruit level bots, but how about let's use a very situational weapon, a shotgun. This is a shotgun. Funny thing about shotguns is, at close range, they are practically impossible to beat, but at long range, they are incredibly easy to beat. Especially the pump action ones, because they can't shoot faster than a certain rounds per minute, so you can really just shoot them. And after a certain distance, they simply refuse to even do damage in the first place. As you can see, by maintaining a distance in the middle of the map, I am never too far from an edge of the map in order to have the superior firepower, in order to outgun all of my opponents. But as you can see, by staying in the middle, I am never too far away to not be able to one-shot somebody. Now, there will be certain situations when you do not want to be in the middle. Some of those are when there are multiple grenades being thrown. As you can see, we did not do that bad. Because in about probably 50-something instances, I utilized all 3 of the tips and tricks in this video. I utilized having a better weapon than the enemy, having better aim than the enemy, and having better positioning than the enemy. Now, at some point in this video, I probably have neglected to explain what better positioning is, or nonetheless how to do it, because we all know better positioning is being able to shoot the enemy more than the enemy can shoot you. You have to balance between rushing face first into the enemy with no regard for your personal well-being, and not wanting to go near the enemy in fear of being absolutely fucking mauled. That is why, in this example, which I will put on screen for sure, because I am a good editor who likes to do these things, I stayed in the middle rather than running into their spawn, because staying in my spawn would not get me any kills and in fact put me at a disadvantage for my weapon. Going into their spawn would put me at a numbers disadvantage, because there would be so many enemies coming at me at once that I would be overwhelmed, because I would be overwhelmed and unable to deal with the massive amounts of enemies spawning directly on top of me. So I chose the mid-ground between having enemies and having them close, but not too close that there's too many of them, by staying in the middle and not going past that point. So to recap, have a better gun. Just figure out what better guns are. I don't really know how to tell you besides giving you specific examples. Have better aim than the other guy. Practice your aim every now and again. Go into a bot match with the sniper rifle or whatever gun that you feel like your aim isn't good at, and just keep shooting those bots as accurately as you can, preferably in the head, to increase your aims. To increase your aim skill as much as physically possible. And lastly, but most definitely not leastly, better positioning than the enemy, by balancing between wanting to rush face first into them and wanting to stay in your spawn. This would be basically staying as physically far as possible for your weapon to still be effective. Because if you have a better gun in that situation and better aim, they will need to overcome your aim by having even better aim than yours, and also overcome the fact that you have a better gun, because the further you are from them, the more difficult it will be for them to aim at you. And, I mean, there is a window. Being directly in front of them does make it harder for them to shoot you. It makes it easier for them to hit you with the butt of their gun. If there's anything you think I've missed in this video, leave a comment saying, hey, you forgot blank, such as buy the better guns, or, you know, actually play the game and get the good guns like the AN-94, or, you know, actually play the game and unlock the good attachments for the good guns. But of course, if you'd like to want to see more, maybe click like, maybe click subscribe. But of course, I've been Srack. Later.